basically, well, there's a lot less critters that you can ride. And you'll notice that I am using, well, I'm on a frog right now, but basically the critters that you can ride, in the second and third, you can also basically transform into them at certain points. So, like, there's something you go into and it would actually turn you into it. I don't remember exactly. Like I said, it's been a while since I've played them. No, give me that. Okay, there. But basically, that's one of the bigger differences. There were also a few new ones added, because I think this game only has Rambi the Rhino. I don't remember the frog's name. And they also have the ostrich and the swordfish. So this level here is basically the most pain in the ass level there is in this game. And I only learned this recently, but if you go into that over there, I guess I'm pointing at my screen, I'm an idiot, but if you go into that barrel, basically it shoots you into a minecart and you're on this like deadly minecart track. But if you want to skip all that, you just jump over it into this hidden barrel, which pretty much takes you straight here, and literally all you have to do is jump one enemy, or fail at it, and you have Donkey Kong to save you. That's the level. I don't want to show the difficult way, because unless you guys are interested, but it is brutal. Alright, I don't remember how many times I had problems with that as a kid. But I also don't remember failing horribly like I keep doing. So, I don't know, you win some, you lose some. Okay, let's see here. You die. Come on. There we go. I'm playing like absolute garbage right now. I gotta actually focus. I mean, it looks like such a simple game, but it's actually a lot more difficult than you would think. I see what I have to do with that. Yeah, a lot of them were, I mean, they were all a lot less forgiving than current generation of games. Did I get that stuck? Dang it. Get out of there. Out. Failed. I wanted that Rambi thing. I gotta learn to stop failing. Okay. Third time's the charm? I think this is third attempt. If not, I can't count. There we go. So essentially collecting those, as you saw when I got the ostrich one, basically gives you a mini game where you can basically just earn more lives. And if I'd stop failing, that would be nice, because I'm going to actually need those lives. So let's try one last time here. I guess I'll show you the rhino minigame too. It's one of the, I mean, they're all the same. You're basically controlling the characters. So Rambi's is obviously you're Rambi and you're like running around, but this one's got a lot more intense platforming than the others. So this one seems to be a lot harder. At least I always found it to be harder. So hopefully I can get up to the top and get an extra life is what I'm hoping. Because up here, if I can do this right, I believe there's the giant Rambi that doubles my points. And I'm gonna fail because I don't have the time. I should have just continued on. Oh well. So that'll give me 3 lives at least. That's essentially it. Those bonus games are pretty much a waste of time if you're actually trying to speedrun or anything, so let's continue on. I hate that bee. I also remember that the bees, if you look at them, I mean, they're kind of spiky. I need that barrel. There's a bonus there that I want to get. Anyway, the bees are spiky in this one. If you went to the... if you actually played the third game, they are not really spiky. They actually have, like, buzzsaws in their back, making it look like they're, like, kind of robots, I guess. So I don't actually remember the premise to that game, but maybe they are robot bees. I don't remember. Essentially. Like, they had robots. They had saws in their butts. I was going to say robots in their butts. That wouldn't have even made sense. Wow. Okay, let's just continue on. Whoa! This is a lot more difficult to control than I remember as a kid. But that's okay. Because I think I've got it. Is there a bonus up there? What's that? Oh, there it is, right here. No! Oh, wait, what? Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Just get that last banana. And there we go. You also notice that the mounts are level specific, so if I go to a new level, I definitely will not have the mount. This was actually one of the hardest levels I remember as a kid, because this game is actually quite unforgiving. So you'll see there's these go barrels, and if I hit one, it basically turns to a stop, and it's pretty much red light, green light for these enemies. And while they're stopped, basically they're harmless, but when they're not stopped, you will get your ass kicked. So basically, how do I put this? It's a lot harder than you'd think, because as a kid I remember them being very, how do I put it? They're very unexpected. Like, it changes and it's very unforgiving. So like you're working on finishing the level. You're just walking, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the enemies start moving, and it's like, oh crap! I did not really think that was going to happen, and like I actually bounced off an enemy there, and I barely got off the platform in time. Like, if I don't keep hitting this, it's going to change, and I barely got away again. So you gotta really be quick if you want to stay alive. I mean, I'm actually stopping talking so that I can actually focus on that, because that's actually quite difficult. And it's funny because these games were marketed at kids, and that's one thing that's quite cool, is like the games were actually challenging back then. They are far from that these days. Apparently my hand-eye coordination is also far from good these days. Let's see if I can do this. No, I wanted my... Dang it. Oh well. I could use the old sheep trick to get a bonus. So you might be wondering why you actually have to spell the word rare. This game was actually developed by a company called Rare, so that's pretty much it. Not too much to say about that. But I think Rare was bought out by Microsoft, which unfortunately all companies that get bought out by Microsoft apparently just basically die out. So really it's a shame, but I'm hoping that... Who am I kidding? I know that's probably going to happen to Mojang, but I was hoping that wouldn't happen now that Microsoft bought them to own Minecraft. Not much you can do. Oh well. Let's get my tire back. Well, there goes my tire. Oh, I already got the bonus. Doesn't really matter. See, I'm also trying to dodge them because I know that you need TNT here. Because you were wondering why I was holding onto that barrel. Oh, hey Vash, how's it going? But yeah, a lot of this game is actually memorization. There was no way of... I don't think there was an easy way of knowing where hidden things were in this game. It was pretty much just trial and error. Which, I mean, that's... If next time I find something that's sort of obvious, but not really, I'll point it out. Because this game had a lot of that. So, like here, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get this on this moving platform. Which allows you to basically bounce up here, not get killed, and get up here. But I just failed both. But up there is basically, there's the frog guy that you can ride again. Which is why I was trying to get up there. It kind of makes the level easier, but that's alright. So let's try to time that wrong, I guess. And at least when I die, I lose my life, and then I'll gain one back. Fantastic game. It's actually funny because there's so many of these games. They actually had like, they all had like their own little bugs to them, or little quirks that you'd have to know. Like, I mean, this game technically, well, it's still a good game. I'm not going to knock that. But there we go. Something like that. They all had something like that. Like Yoshi's Island, the cartridge I held up a little while ago. Basically, in that game, there's a place where you could basically die. And if you die, well, you could die everywhere, let's just face it. But there's a place where you could basically get max number of lives. So basically how that worked, and it's just your typical underflow bug, where you die, but you trick the game into thinking that you're still alive. So you die in that game, and you end up on a switch. And what ends up happening is, it actually registers that as you died, but then the switch interrupts the death. So you didn't technically die. So if you go from 0 lives and you die, it underflows and ends up being the max number, which is 999 in that game. So there's cool things like that. Like, all games have them. And wow. So there's always those cool bugs, and at least this game, even though I technically died, I was able to gain that life that I would have gotten otherwise, so that's kind of cool. Now, the unfortunate thing behind that is it doesn't actually count as a... Well, it basically counts as a death, so I still just break even. But it actually counts as I collected everything. So since I collected everything, it basically takes away all my... It basically takes away my chance to spell Kong again, which is kind of unfortunate because then I could just got more lives as I kept dying. So they did actually code in to handle that, but it's kind of interesting just to note that you can get, or you can lose all your life. Yeah, I mean, you can lose a life, but you can still gain it back at the same time, so. So I believed I needed to carry these. No, I could just kill you. Whoops, I didn't mean to press that. Whatever. I think this is a hidden door. Yep. Oh, these were fun. You keep hitting these guys and they give you bananas until you beat this room. But they keep getting faster as well. So my goal is probably to only hit the fast one, if I can help it. And I died. Well, I failed. But basically, if you finish that, you'll get one of those little statue things for the mounts.